Hello, all. This is Dr. Dave Maslach talking about reciprocity.com. The E is spelled with a 3. I'm a professor of innovation strategy and entrepreneurship. I'm trying to create this platform so that you can get all the feedback that you desire in order to become prolific writers and scholars. So in this particular video, I really wanted to talk about 6 different ways to combat boredom when you write. So this is part of my Monday Write series. I put out videos for the last 6 months, every single Monday, actually every single day, about different things about going to graduate school, about writing, about doing research, owning a small business or startup, all this kind of stuff. Just trying to be as helpful as I possibly can so that you can be awesome going forward. And this video is kind of a mishmash of, these 6 different ways. It's kind of a mishmash of, what's going on in research versus stuff that I've learned from my own experience. This is kind of, it's kind of a bit of a mishmash of my own personal experience and as well as research. So what are these 6 different ways to combat boredom when you're writing? So it's really important. What do I mean by boredom? I'm just going to, I'm not a boredom researcher by any means. So and all of this stuff should be taken with a grain of salt. And really, what do I mean by boredom is that negative feeling when you're sitting down and trying to get into writing, right? So this is the moment before you get into this state of flow. So if you haven't watch the video where I talk about Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, and I'm pronouncing that probably, I'm sure, totally wrong, but basically he is a social psychologist that talked about the social psychology of creativity. And there's a moment where when you're writing, everything disappears around you and you feel amazing. It happens in any sort of creative endeavor. You feel amazing. You actually feel like you're not really yourself. You're ignoring everything around you. Your hands and feet and everything just disappear. And it's just you and the paper, or it's you and that particular creative thing that you're doing. Everything else just disappears. It's a really fun sort of moment where you're just kind of in oneness. And I know that seems really wonky and stuff, but that's really the feeling that you get into. It's like if you're a mathematician, so I was an engineer, I was trained engineer. When you're solving math problems, you get in this moment where you're like, wow, this is cool, right? Like this is happening. And the entire world just disappears around you. Same with a programmer. I program as well, and the same thing happens. So what do I recommend? What are different ways to recommend sort of boredom when you're writing? This could be applied to anything, but just basically I'm focusing on writing. So first of all, if you get bored, you get that moment where you're just like, it's awful. Just go change your location. Go get up, move around. I have a standing desk normally that I work at, and it's amazing in terms of that. It adds a little bit of difficulty in terms of thinking sometimes, but also you can move around. You feel very, very free. You can get up and just change and go to, sometimes I work at home, right? I'm working at home right now. Sometimes I work in my office. Sometimes I go work in a coffee shop. Whatever it takes, just get up and get around, go experience the world. That's the wonderful thing of writing these days. You don't need to sit in one location. The second thing is just find a partner. So this is something that I discovered, and actually there's a little bit of research about this from what I know of. It's just working beside other people. So I discovered this when I was going through my undergrad and my wife was becoming a veterinarian of all things. We were sitting there and we would just work in the library together. We would be completely quiet, study together. And it was totally nerdy, yes, I know. But at the same time, it was a really nice experience. And I very much enjoyed it. And I still have very fond memories sitting in the library studying together. We didn't really talk, but we were doing our own independent things. But it really did help to feel that you're not in this alone. And it was just a really wonderful experience. So if you can find somebody to work with like that, it really makes things really quite wonderful. It's a nice experience. And part of the reason why you feel boredom is because this boredom is due to social isolation. The negative feelings is just from social isolation. You feel like you're the only person doing this, and you feel really anxious for example, and you just feel not very nice. So just having that partner sitting there doing it with you, if you can find a partner where you don't get distracted and you can carry on conversations about it and you can sort of mishmash back and forth, that's going to help you out all the more. But it's really hard to find somebody where you can have a conversation and not get distracted and you can just continue to work on something. I find it's often distracting. You need your own alone time, but just having alone time where you're sitting with somebody and it's nice and quiet, that's really fun. It truly is fun, nice experience. It's kind of nerding out at that point, though. Third thing, just try really small rewards. Sometimes I'll do this, and I did this to get through my graduate school, is I would say I'm going to work for 40 minutes, and at that 40 minutes, I'm going to take a break. And the break is just getting up, getting a glass of water, and going back and sitting down, or going to the bathroom, or whatever it is. It's really simple stuff, right? It's not going and doing 15, 20 minutes of whatever. And make sure there's no screen time. Every time that I do that, if my break is screen time, then it doesn't feel like a break. You have to get up and get going and do something. Just kind of take a little, whatever it is. I go to the bathroom. I know that's totally too much information at this moment, but that definitely does help. Fourth thing is just check to see if you're hungry, you're tired, or you're feeling uncomfortable in some sort of way, right? So hungry, tired, uncomfortable in some sort of way, that's going to put extra strain, cognitive strain on your body, and it's going to make you think about things and get distracted very, very easily, especially being hungry. I find that's a big one. If you're feeling cranky or tired or emotional in any sort of way, eat something right away. And make sure it's healthy, whatever it is, right? Don't eat something that's junky, that's sort of empty calories, but go and eat something. I'll have some fruit or some vegetables, and that helps. It helps tremendously of getting over that feeling, and then you're ready to get back out there as well. The other thing, if you're eating a lot of fruits and vegetables, by the way, I learned from listening to the Tim Ferriss podcast that just have a little bit of salt once in a while makes a huge difference, and it does. It really, really helps because you're losing a lot of water. Fifth thing, five. Wow, how about that? Five. Fifth thing, make sure you just focus on doing brain dumps. This is where I suggest, or this is a really nice trick, is like if you're getting stuck on something and you're getting stuck on a couple of words, stop that thing and focus on something else where you could just do a complete brain dump. You can just go and blah, 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 right? You just write down as much as you possibly can. And that really does help, because the brain dumps, those moments when you're getting stuck, it's you're working on something a little bit too hard. So switch, go to a different task, go to a different project, and just do a complete brain dump. That's really fun and cool. And that's why I'm doing this video at this moment. It's kind of getting a little bit distracted. And this video does help. And by the way, these videos are really cool because I'm creating all these videos, and then eventually I actually wanted to get them transcribed, put into blog posts, which I'm kind of working on it. And then finally, what's really cool, I could start, I'm an academic scholar, right? I can actually start, once those blog posts are all there, I can start getting somebody to put some sort of book together. And then the book can be helpful, right? Maybe it's going to be an ebook or an Amazon book or something like that, but it can be really helpful. It's really fun. So I'm actually being more productive by doing this, believe it or not, oddly. In terms of the academic sense and writing articles, maybe not so, but who knows? Maybe it'll turn into something else, right? So six. Whoa, that's awful, right? I shouldn't say that. So anyways, just try dictating. I find I've learned in the last few years that dictating is really fun. And initially, I was sort of using this as a hack to speed up my writing, but then I started to realize that, I actually don't feel nearly as alone when I'm talking, and it feels like my computer, and oddly enough, it feels like it's becoming my friend. Of all things, I'm just talking to my friend and writing about different things. It's like these YouTube videos, right? I have no idea who's watching it. It's somebody in rural Africa, or somebody in Australia, and somebody in New Zealand, somebody around the world, I don't know, Argentina. that's watching this and they're like, oh, look at this guy. And, you know, isn't it interesting? That's kind of a weird thing, right? Really weird. Talking to me, I'm just talking to a screen, and then to you, you're seeing something else. But anyways, try dictating. It really does help. And oddly enough, it sort of gets you around that sort of boredom moment, and you know, you probably have to find a little bit of a quieter environment to do that and get a decent enough microphone, but it does help with fighting boredom. So those are my 6 tips, right? Those are my 6 really important tips. First one, change your location. Second one, find a partner to work with. Third one, just focus on little rewards. Fourth, check to see if you're hungry, tired, or uncomfortable in some sort of way. Fifth one, focus on doing brain dumps, however that is. And sixth one is make sure that you try dictating at some point. It's really fun. So that's it. Those are my 6 tips. If you like this video, do the old thumbs up. Watch a couple of the other ones. I do provide as much helpful stuff as I possibly can so that you can become amazing and awesome along the way and become very, very prolific as a scholar and writer. And that's it. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.